And I'm a challenge participant, and today we're going to be solving the math equation, the cosine of 7 pi over 2. Now, to start this, you wouldn't really know what to do with the 7 pi over 2. It's not something you're used to seeing with a value like cosine. So one way to think about this, an easy way to simplify it, is to split it up. Based on the principles of trigonometric functions, if we had something like cosine of a plus b, we can rewrite that as cosine of a plus cosine of b. Now, this can be useful a lot of times. It's just a way to simplify it, put it in easier terms if you don't have a calculator or something, and it lets you solve the function without using a calculator. So this can be used for this equation because we can split this up. Based on common denominator, we can split this up as cosine of pi over 3 plus pi over 4. These are going to be equal to 7 pi over 2. And you can tell that these are going to be equal because if I did want to combine these again as a fraction, it would be, I would have to find a common denominator between them. And so it'd be 3 times 4. And so this 4 plus 3 pi. And this would just give me cosine of 7 pi over 12 again. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, in order to solve cosine of pi over 3 plus cosine of pi over 4, we can use the principle I just showed you earlier. So cosine of pi over 3 plus cosine, we're just splitting it up in order to make it simpler and put it in easier terms. Cosine of pi over 4. Alright, now cosine of pi over 3 is something you should be more familiar with, but if you aren't, if we were to just graph it out, pi over 3 would be around here. And if you know your unit circle, you would know that this value, your x value, is going to be your 1/2, and your y value is going to be radical 3 over 2. And since it's cosine, all we care about is the x value. So we have a 1/2 for cosine of pi over 3. And then for cosine of pi over 4, something you should also be familiar with. But if not, then another graph. Cosine of pi over 4 straight through the middle of your first quadrant. Draw that again. And then pi over 4 is when your x and y values are equal. You have radical 2 over 2 for your x and also radical 2 over 2 for your y. But since it's cosine, all we care about is the x value. So 1/2 plus radical 2 over 2. And another way to write this, since we have the common denominator of 2, is 1 plus radical 2 over 2. And that's just another way to solve cosine of 7 pi over 2 by splitting it up into two different cosines of simpler fractions.